And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us here on Backstage. I'm your host, Mr. Magic, sitting alongside my very good friend, Miss Shelley Johnson. And I can call you Shelley. I don't have to call you Shelley Thunder.
No.
I call you Shelley Thunder when we're on the radio together.
I'm a Johnson from Happy Valley Way.
Yes, yes, you are. This is my sister from another mother, straight up.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, just like that. So, okay, let's talk about your stint with Mix 106, and you are very, very knowledgeable when we listen to you on the radio, and you know, and that's what makes your show so unique. Is that you're not just going to get the music, but you're going to get the history, the
a little info.
Yeah, a little info on the artist.
You can maybe win a music trivia contest if you listen to Shelley and find out some things about the artist. My interest in the artist is where that comes from. And Wikipedia is my best friend.
Oh, yes.
Wikipedia is my best friend. And I figure, you know, a lot of people out there just, you know, hear a song and don't even know who the artist is. And there are other people who want to say, I want to know who that artist is, because in case I want to get something else by them. And radio for me, personally, is for entertainment. You know, my job, I feel, as a radio announcer, is to promote the artist.
Yes.
That's what terrestrial radio is for, in my opinion, to promote the artist, to provide entertainment and information to the people listening. So if I'm going to talk, I'm going to talk about the music.
Yes.
You know, I'm not much into talk radio at all. So the fact that Mix 106 has the format that it does, where we're pretty diversified, top 40, adult contemporary, classics, you know, the whole 9 yards. Rock and Roll Friday is my favorite day.
Old School Wednesday is my favorite day.
Old School Wednesday, Leslie's good at. And so that's what I like to do. If you know, people are out there listening and they might be thinking, what am I going to put on my iPod? And they like Imagine Dragons, say, as their favorite sort of alternative band. And like, well, if you like Imagine Dragons, you're really going to like Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're really going to like, you know, and then there's The Train and Coldplay and all those other bands that fit in with those categories.
That gentleman that you introduced me to, not Palmer, the guy that you told me about. Come on now, help me here, Shelley.
Yeah.
The one, not the guy from Ireland. I'm trying to remember who it was. Well, basically what I'm getting at is
Paolo Nutini.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm in love with this little Scotsman, Scottish pop singer from Great Britain called Paolo Nutini. The fact that his name was Paolo Nutini, I thought he was maybe a foreign language artist, because often in our playlists we get European singers that will be singing in German or French or something else. And so I was just completely assuming that he would be an Italian singer.
And that's what I was thinking as well.
But he's Scottish.
Okay.
And he's brilliant. Yeah. So, you know, lots of times if I'm not familiar with the artist, when I see it come in our downloads, you know, I play them ahead of time and listen to them and find out about them, and then I go right on Wikipedia and find out about them. Yeah. And Paolo Nutini, you know, could sing for me any day, and there'd be a big smile on my face. Wait a minute,
you've said this about Adam Levine as well.
Yeah, well, Adam Levine, I just kind of want to sit there and like take his shirt off and talk to me. I like him as a singer too, but but he doesn't come up to Paolo right now is sort of my boy crush in music right now. Paolo definitely is.
Now, in the world of music, as you know, like I said, Shelley and I, growing up together, we hung out at Disco. Well, I worked at Disco 40.
And I hung out there after work.
Hung out there at Disco 40. We used to go Flavors.
Sure.
We used to go to
Half and Half,
and
Touch Club.
Touch, Galaxy, you know, all those places. And then just a little before our time, our parents went to Four Aces and those other places.
Yes.
But during our journey, and we got to meet a lot of different artists. And right now, I mean, props due to Mr. Terry Brennan and also Tony Brennan. For the artists that came to Bermuda.
Absolutely.
You know, through Disco 40, the Vixens from Europe, Andy Newmark.
Peaches and Herb.
Peaches and Herb.
Yeah, remember?
You know, all these different artists. Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is brilliant.
Yeah, you know, and the list can go on and on of all these different artists. It was a time that you used to hear the phrase sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You know, drugs have always been within the music industry. Do you think it's even more prevalent nowadays, you know?
Probably just depends, I guess, but not so much, I would think, because awareness for what it is. And lots of times with artistry comes lots of angst. Like, they say, you know, humor in comics comes from tragedy, a lot of it, or stuff in their life. And I think the same thing in music. And from a lot of the stuff that I've read about various artists and stuff, it is about, you know, they have stage fright to sort of cachet it into all sort of one thing. It's fear of not being good enough or being rejected, and then they try to alter that mindset with a substance. Often alcohol is the biggest one. One of the biggest acts that have sort of gone through that recently is both like Bon Jovi and also Green Day with Billy Joe Armstrong, where they got to the point where they were so messed up on liquor by the time they got on stage that they like couldn't finish a set and stuff. And that happened, you know, with Kings of Leon as well. I remember it was well written about. So they have to make a decision and I guess get some life skills almost. Oftentimes it's from youngsters that they get into it. Yeah. And in order to have the nerve to go out there on stage and play, they, you know, think they need a little hair of the dog or something to get out there. Yeah. And that is a very slippery slope often. Yeah. And like I said, oftentimes there's been serious angst and trouble in their lives, whether their upbringing or their relationships. Yeah. And that's what they do. It's an escapism, and sometimes it tips too far.
Yeah, because I have heard of artists that really they will not perform unless they've had a couple of drinks in.
Exactly. You know. Yeah, and thankfully many of them, like the bands I mentioned earlier, have come to the realization that they're okay, just being who they are, and that comes sometimes with, you know, lots of help, you know, from the medical profession, and from people around you, because it can be a very fickle business, and you can steal your life if you let it. Yeah. And unfortunately it has happened.
Yeah, because you hear in songs nowadays where you know, they're even promoting like well, because the world is looking to legalize marijuana.
Sure.
You know, so that's becoming more in songs that you hear. I mean, we want to say Snoop Lion.
Yeah,
you know, we already know what he's about.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
But they're going that way. So I'm going to ask your opinion on that when we come back from this break. On basically and find out if Bermuda agrees or disagrees on the legalization of marijuana. So we'll be back right after this with more with Shelley Thunder. See you in a moment.